TSP port the. I'm confused. Search bird retrospective. There we go.
Buried. The third and final Black Ops 2 installment to the Transit storyline.
Alright, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta turn that fucking music off, and then we're gonna play Buried. Let's have a little bit of a let's have a look at it. Music volume done. All right, let's have a look and see what we see. I'll let you know if I like it.
An arc released July 2nd, 2013. While the community was feeling positive towards a new map after the success of Mob, there wasn't much to suggest that this Western-themed map would be a hit. By this point, everyone had realized the mess Transit was, and while Die Rise was certainly tolerated, we all, well, most of us know now how bad that map really is. In terms of an interesting story or strong gameplay, the Transit crew was batting 0 for 2 at this point. And so it's absolutely shocking to look back and see how successful Buried really was.
It was a great map.
It conceded 2 of the most bottom-tier maps ever produced by Treyarch, and then out of nowhere, just managed to knock it out of the park. And what's even more impressive is that Buried is essentially the only map post Black Ops 1 to be a huge success as a casual map. Every other great map after this would be extremely in-depth with serious tones, and because of this, I think Buried is truly special. To look back on it, it's shocking to see just how good a job they did with this map, and so today we'll be going back to the hot classic to figure out just what made it so good. So Zombies Retrospective has been getting demonetized, and as a content creator, that is super frustrating. And so because of that, I've been looking for an alternative way to support this series and continue putting out higher quality content. And so I just want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor. It's a game that needs no introduction. It's Raid Shadow.
Fuck!
You want to be the hero?
Did you do this on purpose? Who did it?
To worry about unreliable YouTube algorithms. Anyways, though, let's get into it. So Buried actually excels in 2
Can't get away
ways,
from it.
rather than how most great maps usually excel in one area with every other facet supporting the central one. And so Buried is a bit of an anomaly in this sense. The most obvious of the two is of course innovation and new features. Buried is one of the most innovative maps of all time, but only sort of. Buried isn't innovative in the sense that it plays with dimensions like Transit or Die Rise. It doesn't add a giant quest or afterlife like Mob. It doesn't change the core gameplay by removing gravity and oxygen like in Moon. There's no single addition that is truly groundbreaking, yet it's still often considered to be one of the most innovative maps of all time. And that's because Buried innovation comes through features. It doesn't add anything huge, but instead it jam-packed the map with tons of tiny little new things. And I think this is essentially the cornerstone feature of the map. Let's start with Leroy. He's a giant trapped in a cell, and to free him, you need to unlock the cage with a key and then feed him a bottle of booze. So in one round, these 2 pieces are already brushing Die Rise's 3 total items on the map. And Leroy essentially opens everything else up. Leroy is used to access areas like Jug, the church, and mansion. There's even a secret function where if he breaks the fountain on the main side, the maze-sized fountain will act as a portal back to spawn. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with this big guy. Leroy has another feature called Candy, which has so many possibilities. Giving Arthur candy near the box will have him slam it down in place so that you never get teddy bears. Candy next to a drop respins it with the chance to get a max ammo. If he's near a crawler, he will pick it up and keep it safe for as long as you want. He'll fight for you. He'll even
haven't done that yet, but I need to.
Buildable if you take him to a workbench.
It's true. They made Leroy like a real crutch.
Consider this. Leroy is basically Treyarch's second attempt at the hacker device from Moon, just implemented way more smoothly. Instead of some little tiny box on a workbench that comes with the trade-off of oxygen itself, you get a friendly companion with a real personality. Leroy is extremely practical to use, and he's so well integrated that I think a lot of people don't even realize how similar he is to the hacker.
He's really well integrated.
Every single game can get a little stale, but overall, I do love Leroy. Buried adds a lot more than that, however. You've got the Paralyzer, which is to the jet gun as Primus is
it's
stable
good.
to Ultimus. That is the nerdiest joke I've ever made on this channel. So the paralyzer freezes zombies in place, and oh wow, shocking new feature, doesn't actually break when it overheats. Now that is innovation. The paralyzer also lets you fly, and while
What's up,
it's a small
Jonathan?
feature, I think it's yet another detail that builds towards a greater outcome. The map also has a time bomb. Placing it makes a checkpoint, essentially allowing you a redo if you are to make a mistake in down. There's also the Remington new model army pistol, which while cool is mostly a reskin of the Python. And who could forget
That's
the
nice.
Ray Gun Mark II?
Yeah, that was
look at the Mark II.
that first came out in Black Ops 2 Buried. So that is like a huge point right there. Buried made that shit happen.
A general Black Ops 2 gun, but let's not forget it was a buried edition. This is one of my personal favorite weapons in all of Zombies, and I really think it was a much needed upgrade to a weapon we already see starting to fall behind in the weapon roster. My only complaint is that I wish it had a single fire mode. Ammo just tends to run out quick with that guy, but regardless, it's a great weapon. We've still got so much more though. The map saw PhD finally return in the form of a perma-perk. While it's annoying that it wasn't in previous maps, it's a fun addition that allows players to use explosives. The map also has multiple ways to get free perks. Players with a ballistic knife can head to the bar and hit a bullseye on the dartboard, which triggers the piano to start playing. From there, you just need to head into the mansion, tip the ghost, and you get a free perk. Or if you're lazy, literally just kill the witch every 5 rounds and you'll get one that way too. Speaking of perks, we've also got Vulture Aid.
I didn't know
I'm not gonna
that.
sit here and act like it isn't OP, but I do love Vulture Aid. We'll talk about Buried being easy later,
OP.
but for now, I'll just say, I think Vulture Aid was a really good idea that just got handled poorly. The enhanced vision, extra perks, and ammo is fantastic, but the green mist is a little ridiculous. Still though, I love it, and every time I play Buried, I get excited remembering that it's on the
Gonna go
map.
on it out
We've
and
also
go,
got
alright,
new
laters,
buildables.
Malachi.
The
Have a good night,
Subsurface
man.
Resonator and Head Chopper are 2 brand new OP additions that basically serve as ridiculously good defense style.
You okay? I'm
And
amazing,
gonna give bonus
Jonathan.
points
Give me
for
1
the
minute, brother.
Subsurface Resonator for reusing the noise of the scavenger. I just love that noise so much that I'm willing to look past the laziness. But you've also got chalk drawings. The game lets you choose where to put the Remington, AN-94, PDW, SVU, and more. It's such a neat addition that also is incentivized with 1,000 free points and is yet just another great feature of the map.
Yeah, it
So
does hand
overall,
shit to
Buried
you.
adds a lot of little stuff, and when you hear this all added together, you can really get a sense of just how full the map is. But
It is.
hey, with all these features, can anyone think of a potential problem that the game might run into? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but surely so many crazy things in one map might be pretty hard to balance. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
what's that? Buried is the easiest map of all time.
Bugger.
Yeah, that adds up. Buried's mortal sin is that it's too easy in a problematic way. Now, as we've discussed in many retros,
You just get every perk
isn't
straight away.
necessarily bad. Kino is too easy for me personally, but I don't dock it points as challenge is a subjective feature. Buried loses points, however, because of the way it's easy. So if you want to set up in the Juggernaut camping spot with 4 perks and 3 pack-a-punch weapons, you're gonna have a pretty easy time. But hey, who doesn't like a good camp sesh, right? That's why people love Doris. Sadly, this is just the beginning. Add in the Head Chopper, Subsurface Resonator, or Trample Steam, and things become that much easier. Play with 4 people and have everyone set them all down, well, now you literally don't have to shoot. Add in the fact that Vulture
guys, don't worry,
makes
I
you
gotta remove it.
temporarily invincible, and this becomes a downright broken strategy. I also probably don't even need to remind you of the solo bank rooftop strat. You literally just camp in Vulture Aid smell with the paralyzer, and it's an easy round 100. But sadly, that's not even the worst part, and that's because Buried has a bank. Everything I just explained can be done on round 1.
Oh, yeah,
and
I know.
This is the biggest single problem with Buried. I think because Transit
Shouldn't
and
have a
Die-Rise
bank.
are such unenjoyable and broken maps, the bank makes them a little bit more tolerable. When things don't go your way because of a game flaw, like Pack-a-Punch not opening on Transit, you don't feel so bad about taking 30 grand and going wild on the box. But on Buried, it's another story. Because the map sets you up for success and is actually good, for the first time we were able to clearly see what a problem the bank is. It takes away
5
the sense
perks.
of accomplishment for achieving
Round
a good
3 just
setup
coming up.
legitimately, and is a constant temptation in the back of your mind when something doesn't go your better way. There's
That's
a reason
true.
Jason didn't add them to Mob and Origins, and I think both maps would have really suffered otherwise. I
Yeah.
think it might even be safe to
I
say
agree.
that the bank is the most single game-breaking feature to ever be placed in Zombies.
Also
and it
agree,
was
but it's
only
really
in Buried
nice.
that we really saw how bad
It's
it was.
poorly
But as
executed.
previously mentioned, Buried offers a lot more than just features. Atmospherically, the map is really impressive. Think about how many unique places Buried has to offer. Weighing in at 18.5 Nocturne Totems, it's not a huge map, but I
Damn.
think it does a really good
18
job of
Nocturne
utilizing
Totems.
space to the best of its abilities. Think about all the cool areas here. I still don't even understand
shop.
what Spawn is supposed to be or how it's all still operating, but at least it's super cool. Actually, if
Yeah.
anyone could explain Spawn to me,
I
that
love
would be
Spawn.
really
It's
awesome.
like the most beautiful
But of
spot
course
to
there's
spawn
more.
in
From
for
here
a
we can
zombies
head
map.
down into the map itself. One of the often forgotten
Beautiful
areas
color
of
tone.
Buried are the upper tunnels, which connect the quick revive area to both the saloon and the courthouse. Behind the main section of the map sits the mansion, a brief passing through area which really has a dark and evil vibe to it. Behind the mansion lies the maze, and despite offering little in terms of its overall size, it really is a neat place on the map, especially for Pack-a-Punch. And of course, the main town area is fantastic, full of all
Yeah.
sorts of neat
100%.
buildings with tons of character.
It's just
The
epic
bar
'cause it's
feels
underground.
atmospheric and full of memories. The candy shop is colorful and exciting, and the general store just feels spot on for a general store. Every area here sits on its own while also working with the other places to make something greater than
Hey,
the
hang
sum
on
of
one
its
minute,
parts.
Jonathan. I'll get back to you in a
Buried is
second,
an
bro.
awesome place to explore, and it's got some of the best
Patience,
soundtrack
brother.
and ambient noises in all of Zombies. Black Ops 2 is also the only Treyarch Zombies game to have a legitimate super Easter egg ending, and as the finality, Buried gets a lot of points for this. Actually, the reason I haven't touched on this in previous videos is that despite being shared by Transit and Die Rise, the super Easter egg really belongs to Buried. Buried's Easter egg
Really?
is so good that it makes doing the other horrible maps actually worth it. Transit's
God, the
Easter egg
original
essentially sets the scene. Maxis and Richtofen are working against each other to secure the ether through the help of the Victus crew. The steps are boring, however, and players are rewarded with literally nothing. Die Rise picks it up a bit with some better steps and full perks upon completion, but the problem here is that it does nothing to progress the storyline. And so because of this, the payoff of
No one
the
cares
arc
about the
is
storyline
left
that much.
entirely to Buried, where it fortunately does deliver. Despite Transit and Die Rise Easter eggs being a literal bag of Richard Nixons, the neat features of the Easter egg are that you get to pick your side. You can choose to follow Maxis or Richtofen. What's especially neat about this is that a lot of steps tend to mirror each other. For example, on Buried's Maxis side, you must use the subsurface resonator to destroy 4 glowing orbs, whereas for Richtofen, you'd actually be charging them. The Super Easter egg also has these nav card tables, which are needed to link.
Okay, I don't know anything about the
talk
Easter
about
eggs.
Teamwork and patience. It's a great final step in an overall fantastic Easter egg. Then, once completed, if all 4 players have linked their nav cards
do they
and
get?
beaten all 3 Easter eggs on the same side, a button becomes available in the
What?
courthouse. Pressing it completes the Super Easter egg and gives you your ending. If Richtofen wins, he will take over Samuel's body and have Maxis erased from the universe. As a bonus, all players will have a permanent fire sale along with full perks and a variant of Mule Kick that gives the player 4 weapons. While not quite as cool, if Maxis is victorious, the game goes orange and Richtofen's soul gets put into a zombie doomed to die over and over. Killing the Richtofen zombie also gives you a free drop every time. And while both endings aren't as credible as Moon or Mob of the Dead, I would still put this above the Origins and Revelations ending.
Holy
as they at least
shit.
give closure. So Buried is a great conclusion to an otherwise
my God, he's
poor
holding him.
trio of maps, and I'm really happy that the team were able to at least hit 1 for 3 here. It was the
Right. Let's talk about it. Map's amazing. Leroy's incredible. Never done the Easter egg before. Got to get on that shit somehow with someone, sometimes, somewhere, when. Who knows what the hell? Jesus. That's epic. On top of that, yeah, the aesthetic of the map, absolutely beautiful. I couldn't complain. This is my favorite map 100%. Still is. Always will be. That's all I have to say about it.